Well, Ambassador, this year is the 20th anniversary of the assassination of late Commander Massoud, your brother, and also the terrorist attacks on U.S. ground to the Twin Towers and to the Pentagon. Well, those both attacks were closely linked, and I always like to do some virtual history and to ask myself what would have been if your brother, late Commander Massoud, would have survived the assassination, his assassination, and well, because he was one of the people that most warned the U.S. and the West in general of the imminent danger of terrorist attacks. What do you think? Would anything have changed
Well,
if
of
he would?
course, as you put it rightly, if he was alive, he was a man who grew with the people, who knew about the suffering of the people, and he was a very charismatic and natural leader for Afghanistan, who knew Afghanistan so well, so good, and he had committed his own life to the cause of Afghanistan. The way he really stood against the Russian invasion, the same way he stood against the terrorism invasion, and in the distance of 20th and 21st century, he really fought the two battles, to the big battle, the invasion of the Red Army, invasion of this black terrorism, all of that. Then, of course, he was already a very kind of formidable natural leader of the country, and his age was 48 when he was assassinated. If he was alive, of course, this sort of situation would not have prevailed in Afghanistan. If he was alive, of course, the Taliban terrorists were not there anymore. If he was alive, of course, Afghanistan would not have been so desperate, because he loved his country, because he was committed to his country, because from the very young age he said that, well, I will drop my blood to my country. I want Afghanistan for Afghanistan. I don't want Afghanistan for anybody else. And that was the sense of dependence he has always had. He always carried that one. He never kind of gave way to anyone else. Said that this is my country. And if he was alive, of course, the whole situation would have been different like that. But he's not with us. But his memories is what's us. His vision was us. His thoughts was us. And the way that we, as a family of Massoud and his son, is all as we are moving, because his vision are with us. The way that the people of Afghanistan still have got some confidence, trust, because of his name, because of his thought, because of his vision. So therefore, we can go on with this vision to liberate our country, to really kind of combat the terrorism, because terrorism is not only my enemy, terrorism is the enemy of humanity, of all the values, of the good people, of all. So therefore, we do feel kind of our obligation to go in this path until the end, because no matter what happens, this is a good cause. It's worth it. We have to go for it. And this is all because of Massoud and his vision for all of us.
Ambassador Wali Massoud, I would like, if Commander Massoud have survived, could he help to disrupt the attack on September 11?
Well, if you see, the connection between the two, 9/11 September, 9/11. Now, the September, there are only two different. The terrorists wanted to make sure that Massoud is not there as the leader of the resistance, so then we can carry on in the then Afghanistan is safe. This is a hub of terrorism. We can be safe and sound there. So that's why they made sure that he was killed, and immediately they started that one. And I'm sure that that was kind of pre-planned before, that whenever you kill Massoud, then the operation must be ready to blow up New York and all of that one. I'm sure. So therefore, of course, if he was alive, they would not have carried out this one at the first place. But then they made sure that he is killed. Then they carried out such thing, and then they continued to do so.
Ambassador Massoud, so by the time during Clinton's administration, how do you analyze the relation between the Clinton's administrations with the Taliban?
Well, again, let me say that it started from there. It started from there. I think that some really tried to kind of create that monster, And I'm pretty sure from different countries, they did have their own share of creating the monster. And they admitted that they were involved as well in creating such monster. That the world at the moment is kind of completely confused with what should we do with such thing. So they have really to take the responsibility they created. They cannot really say that, well, we signed an agreement with the terrorists and we're just gone, finished. No, you have got some responsibility as well, because you're involved in creating such thing as well. Not others, but you're as well.
Mr. Branquinho?
Well, Ambassador, we know that the 9/11 attacks opened a new era for global terrorism, and the situation that we see 20 years after in Afghanistan, does this mean that global terrorism is here to stay?
Well, as you put it rightly, unfortunately, that's the case. That 20 years, we all thought that now the whole world community is with us. The least they can do is not to allow terrorism. Maybe they have less, maybe there is corrupt government, maybe this, maybe that, but at least what they can do, terrorists is not only our enemy, that's the enemy of the whole world community. And we really thought, people of Afghanistan thought it that way. But once again, you can see what happened, especially that if some people in some circles and some government in the West are involved in really kind of giving the power to this terrorist group, that is very kind of disappointing, very disappointing. For what purpose they did it, we don't know. But of course, the very kind of high analysis is that because they may want to really kind of threaten their own rivals in the region. But they did not think that the rival can use the same thing back there as well. So that's kind of a very kind of sort of strange paradox that that is really dangerous. Now it's becoming real dangerous.
Ambassador, in this sense, the Haqqani network to run the Homeland Security Ministry, it is tightly linked to the capacity of intelligence as well.
Yes, of course, we all know Haqqani networks. We all know that one. And we know that even now that some of them have come to the government of Taliban, that's surprising as well. Of course, they are connected to some intelligence outside Afghanistan. They cannot operate at all, and they are connected to so many terrorist groups outside Afghanistan. It's a network. It's not only just a group. It's a network. It's a beacon. So Haqqani's network is a network. It's not only a group of terrorists isolated somewhere so we can defeat it. It's a network, a huge network.
Mr. Branquinho?
So, well, Victoria, I would just like to thank Ambassador again. It was a pleasure to do this interview, and I wish all the best for the Afghan people and for the Afghan resistance, of course.
And Mr. Marcus, any final remarks or any final questions?
No, thank you. It's just maybe a little remark. Can we believe that with the Taliban in Afghanistan, it will be ever possible that we will not go back to the past, to the terrorist train zones and everything? Can we believe on that?
No.
Okay.
Taliban is kind of a very you cannot separate them from terrorist group. I mean, if you separate them, then there is no Taliban. You must give them a new definition, something else like that. It's like, the Taliban itself, if you say that the Taliban will accept the sort of universal value or the basic value of, let's say, election, women's rights, and freedom of speech, all of them, if they accept that one, then there's no Taliban. This is just the people like us. There's no Taliban. But they will keep this very kind of respected brand of Taliban. If you just keep them out, the definition will be lost. So the same way, if you really kind of take the Taliban as a whole out of this terrorist group, it's not possible because they are part of the whole bigger network. Can't we see that Afghanistan, especially Afghanistan, Pakistan, the whole thing exists there as a big network? So if the Taliban cannot make the core of that network, who else should make it? Especially that now they have got territory as well.
Thank
Mr.
you.
Ambassador, thank you. And Mr. Ambassador, one last question from my side is, do you think that currently Afghanistan is already a breeding ground for international terrorism, or at least inspiring confidence to international fundamentalist terrorists that started to have some attacks in New Zealand, in Portugal last week? The Portuguese police just disrupted a small network of two operatives from Iraq, and they were having refugee status in Portugal. Do you think that the growing strength of Afghanistan under the Taliban will inspire confidence for international terrorism?
They have already inspired confidence in international terrorism. They have already inspired. We do have a lot of information they have already inspired. So every terrorist group, they think that they can do it as well. Or even in Pakistan itself, you have got around 80,000 armed terrorist groups from different groups, from Daesh to Al Qaeda to all of that. So already the Pakistani government is scared of such things, because once if they kind of spring out, then the whole Pakistan situation will be disrupted altogether. So yes, of course, it has already inspired worldwide. It's kind of so much inspiration for them, because we know that one, because we are connected to Afghanistan, to these people. So we know. Maybe for the Western countries a bit far away, they don't know who is who. But for us, we know who is who. Already it has inspired so many aspirations.
Therefore, Mr. Ambassador, do you think that the former officials that are in exile from the defense or security sector could support or give some support and advice to Western governments, for example?
Yes, I think that not only those, we all have to be kind of connected somehow, not because of politics, not because of benefit, not because of humanity, because of what happens. What will happen the next generation? What will happen less than 5 years' time, 10 years' time? Don't you think that once the Taliban consolidated their strength in Afghanistan, especially if they get some sort of recognition from different countries, what would they do then? And then if there is no force in the name of national resistance for Afghanistan, what would they do then? If there is no threat from them that, look, we cannot do that, if they feel free that, well, Afghanistan is ours and we can do whatever we want, we have that recognition and there's no alternative, no opportunity for the others, what would they do? They will burn the whole world if they can. So therefore, we should not kind of give any kind of doubt in such thing or suspicion that they may. There's nothing made. There is nothing made. We have seen. We have already for the past few weeks, we have seen there is nothing made. We have been told, even in the Western media, that, well, maybe Taliban have changed. Maybe Taliban have changed. But for the past few weeks, we have seen Taliban is worse than ever before. Killing, massacring, intimidating, breaking people's houses, assaulting, and blocking the food, this one, that one. Look, they said nobody is allowed to make a demonstration. They said to the woman. They said, well, we don't have no minister from the women. Look at all of them, they are men like that.
So, Mr. Ambassador, so in this case, we much really judge the Taliban and the Taliban government for what they do, judge for what they do, and then on not what they say, basically.
Exactly what they do. Because, in the past, they have been helped by some foreign countries to do their PR so well that to kind of influence public opinion that we're better people. But you see, for the past 3 weeks, what they do, they don't have the capacity. They don't have the capacity. Except these atrocities that they're committing. Where's the capacity to do it? How long did it take to really kind of say, well, this have a government? And what sort of government they really kind of put there? Where's the woman? Where's the other ethnicities? Where's the capacity? Where's the saying? So, what about this Mullah Haibatullah who said he is the Amir? When exactly he is the Amir? If he is the Amir, he should be on the top of there. He should give at least a message. But where is he? He's not there. He's dead long time ago. But they want just to pick up because this regime or this group is in the hand of some intelligence. Therefore, there's leaderless. There's nobody, no leader. In the name of Mullah Haibatullah, some others are taking charge and they are making decisions. Not Mullah Haibatullah. Where's Mullah Haibatullah? Where is it? Why don't they show him? Why don't they have a message that he should talk? just a week ago, or maybe a week or 10 days ago, because they knew that they don't have it, and then they put another man's picture saying, well, this Mullah Hibatullah soon will come. But since people realize that there is no Mullah Hibatullah, immediately they just completely deleted it and said, no, that's nothing. So they are so wrong, so big lies is there. How exactly we really be encouraged to say, well, we have to recognize this criminal?
So their struggle will be turned stronger on the propaganda field and information and in the media front. It will be the one of the major battlefronts of the Taliban.
Yes, still they have been hurt, but as you put it rightly, what's in practice? In practice, they are revealing that this is not the people who they claim for years and years. That has been revealed so much, and every day something else being revealed like that. Let me give you just today a good example. For example, there were some houses even in Kabul. They did not have nothing to do with the government. They were civilian, but since they were close relative of mine, they went and they just destroyed the whole house, took by force, and put their own pen. They don't respect no principle.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Ahmad Wali Massoud, for such interesting and very important and historical interview. We will, from now on, we will spread the information and the word towards our Portuguese media partners, so that we can understand a little bit more in depth the current reality and situation of the Afghan crisis. Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you very much, Mr. Branquinho and Mr. Marques.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.